Hello and welcome to the dungeon. Dayman here. Today we're going to be discussing what I believe is my most important video. This is going to be discussing how to actually be good at this game. Not just the fact that you're strong, you have good weapons, or that you get lucky, or that you have a decent enough team that helps carry you through. How do you actually be good at this game? Now, spoilers here. It all boils down to communication. But what does that mean? How do you communicate? What do you communicate? And when do you communicate? Also, we will be talking about very important tips on how to successfully resurrect your team and stay alive in the dungeon. I used to be able to do tier 7s, but now with these added difficulties, I mostly just solo 6s now. But the ways in which I can do that is because I've learned how to keep myself safe. Okay, first things first. Establish communication with your team. Okay? Figure out what their names are. Give them a shortened little nickname that you can easily call out. Be sure that they're talking to you. Make sure they know your names. As you are communicating with them, check out their loadout. Maybe even talk about it. That's always a fun talking point in a dungeon. Most people like to keep a pretty balanced loadout. Like for me, I have my ranged options, I have my close ranged options just in case I get into a pickle, and I have my mid-range, more versatile option. And of course, sick Juggernaut perk. Okay, I find this a very balanced loadout, but some people like bows and to stay ranged and throw daggers. You have other people who love to get up close and personal, great swords and shields, bashing through enemies. Okay, so figure out what the party has, and fill any niches. Okay, we're going to lead me. Okay, nobody has a ranged option. Everyone's using swords. Okay. Or everyone's using range. Okay, I need to be able to create space, right? If everyone's using range, great swords and shields are going to be a great utility to keep monsters at bay and give your archers the space they need. Okay? The next thing is communicate what you are doing. When you enter a new dungeon, ask, hey, hi everyone, I'm so-and-so. What are we doing today? If someone enters into a dungeon, say hi and tell them what you're doing. Oh, hey, we're just power leveling today. We're going to hit some exos or, just classic dungeon raids, just trying to get some experience or get some gear, whatever. But don't just say that. Don't just dungeon raids, the usual. Oh, no, whatever you want. Tell them what you want and say, what tier you are hitting, as well as the biome. Because I'm telling you, if we're going Sandstorm, I'm going to want to bring some haste, or at least a Chrono Staff, right? If we're going into a Lava Forge, there's going to be a lot of explosions. We're going to be wanting to, bring some health potions, maybe even equip a perk that reduces explosions, right? Let people prepare. And with that in mind, if you're host, don't just jump on that platform just because you're ready, mission's ready, I'll carry them, whatever. No. Hey guys, you ready? And if you can see somebody getting ready in their room, right? If you see some people over there, ask what they're doing. Are you ready? Maybe someone's playing with Nova, maybe that's the most important deal, but hey, maybe they want to get rid of the bones, right? Before they log off. Check in with people. And once everyone's ready, then hop on that platform. Of course, we know it's going to go faster when everyone's on it. Okay. Once you've established communication, you have a good loadout, everyone's prepared for the dungeon, right? The other thing is, think about what potions you're bringing into a dungeon. If you're hitting exos, haste is excellent to get you to those glowing triangles, okay? If you're hitting souls, hazard potions like ice and bombs are great to clear out swaths of enemies. And be sure that everybody has a resurrection and has some invisibility. Okay, if they don't have invisibility, make sure they at least have resurrection. Okay, I typically bring about 2 potions per into each dungeon. That helps keep my shelf stocked. Now, if you're hitting a tier 7 and people don't have resurrects, or you're just jumping from one mission to the next, you're selling yourself short and making those missions a lot harder than they have to be. But I like the challenge. Like the right kind of challenge. Okay. We want to be good at this game with everything this game gives us. Okay. So once everyone's potioned up and you're ready to go, once we're in the dungeon, now, we're not just going to run ahead, okay? there's two kind of people that run ahead. Okay? The two kind of people that run ahead, those are noobs and jaded level 60s or 60 plus who've been playing this game for too long and don't really care about the gaming experience. Oh, don't worry. I'm just going to carry you, bro. Don't worry. Well, some people are playing around before work, or school. They don't have all the time in the world, okay? And they're here for the experience, not the EXP, right? So, give them that chance to play the game. And that's how they're going to get good at the game anyways. So, don't just go running ahead of your party. Let everybody get the chance to play the game. But pair up. Find people whose niche that you can help fill, whether it be their a ranged person with someone with a great sword or a great sword with someone with daggers. Pair up. But keep space between your party. Why do you keep space rather than grouping up? Well, you don't want to run into a bomb barrel or a poison barrel or an unseen hazard. Maybe some enemies weren't fully cleared out and they're hiding or stuck around a corner like bees or something, right? And then what? All 4 or 3 people walk around a corner, boom! And with all these additional damage dungeons, those can clear you out. So, keep that in mind when you are moving together. I recommend just pairing up. Now, when you hit a room, look over your shoulder. People see you look over your shoulder, they're going to see that you're waiting and they're going to move up to you. Once you're doubled up, run in. If you get into a lock-in room, announce it. Hey, it's a lock-in room. Someone with the healing staff might want to stay outside of that room and keep you guys up. The next thing is, you can use that environment to your advantage, okay? The enemies, they have to spawn in the room they have to spawn in. You can lure them into a choke. You can go into a doorway or go around corners. If they're using ranged, you can take yourself around obstructions. Even if you don't have a shield, if they're throwing things like doomers, give yourself an overhead platform that's going to reduce their ability to hit you, right? If you're dealing with slow-moving enemies, constantly moving around structures, taking elevated terrain, right? All these things are going to make you more advantageous than the monsters who are able to kind of get the jump on you, okay? The next thing when it comes to, our monsters and our dungeons here is every monster can be defeated or every boss can be defeated with a different mythical weapon, or every enemy has a different hit point that you can take advantage of. So check out my fighting videos, figure out what those are for you, okay? Now, here's one of the more important things in the dungeon. Resources, okay? Announce when you pick up a key. Announce when you find some, and tell people how many keys you have, and keep a running tab of how many potions and keys you have amongst you. And the most frustrating thing is throwing down 2 invises, throwing down 2 reses, locking out 2 keys into a chest, which you haven't seen. It can happen. 2 keys can get consumed by a singular door or a chest. So say, take out the key, take out your potion, hold it high, and say, "Hey guys, I have this. I'll take the door. Does someone have a key for the chest?" That's going to prevent you from wasting resources in your dungeon. I was also sparing you some frustration because a tilted player is not going to play as well. So, think about the sorts of ways you can communicate with those resources. The next thing about resources is smash everything you see. Collect everything you can, even those tier 1 chests. Get everything you can, because everything that you break is more experience that you get at the end of the round. And if you didn't know that, now you know it. So smash everything. Be mindful when you are smashing something. Hello, 2 for 1 sale. Once you have smashed everything, I wish you would fix the collision with those fingers. Once you've smashed everything in a room and you've collected everything, don't just leave potions lying around, okay? Oh, I don't need that tiny potion. I don't need that big potion. Just carry it, toss it into the room ahead of you, okay? Once you've brought it into the room, it's now an option for somebody else to use. And that's a lot more pertinent when you get towards those boss chambers. So we've talked about communicating with your party, talking about how many resources you have, announcing the resources that you get, okay? Now, when it comes to keeping yourself safe in a dungeon, what you need to do is keep your head on a swivel. I'm literally in a swivel chair, right? So I can kind of get that additional speed when turning around. Okay? So keeping your head on a swivel, always watching that left hand. Keep your eye on your health pool. You're never too strong or high enough level to crack a potion. Okay? And if you're keeping your eye on your ticker, you're probably going to need to crack more potions than you think you need to. And it's going to make picking up those resources a lot more valuable to you. Okay? So keep your head on a swivel, move around, use terrain as suggested when dealing with monsters. Once we've gotten ourselves safe, you can also lure enemies away from your allies, right? Archers will always back away from you, and most other enemies will always move towards you, so lead them into those chokes as we discussed. Once we've gotten all our resources consolidated, we're going to find ourselves coming near the boss chamber, okay? The person with the skeletal key, announce you have the skeletal key as we've discussed. And hey, if you have the skeletal key and you need to go, you need to tell people that you need to go with that skeletal key, because it's going to despawn and go back to that podium. And so everyone's going to have to backtrack to pick up that skeletal key. So if you know that you're going to on a short time, or your mom's calling you or whatever it is, dinner's ready, you're not the one picking up that skeletal key, okay? When it comes to the boss chamber, right? Here's where the fight really, comes in. Take note of how many resources you have. Okay, does everyone have res potions? Anyone have invis? Oh, no, I'm all out of res. Or, okay, I got one. I have an invis. Okay, if you have doubled up on any of those resources, you go ahead and you drop those near the drone. Okay? And if you have people using power gems, right, for their staffs, everybody who's not using those, throw those onto the floor. And if you've been collecting all the chests, then you're going to have plenty of power gems to share. Once everybody has their resources that they need available to them, go around the room, smash everything. We should be doing that anyways, but this is to prevent any hazards from taking over the game, prevent any additional enemy swarms from randomly surprising you from a missed attack, right? And also helps us get more more health potions, know where they are and where to put them, right? Set them in a centralized location where everybody can get to them. Alrighty. Before you start up the drone, make sure everyone's in position. Let your archer take high ground if it's available. Let people start get their weapons drawn. They mostly have them drawn. But announce when you're going to launch that. Everyone ready? Ready. Always, they will say, right? Go ahead and launch that drone. When it comes to enemy waves, if you have a frost staff or whatever, this is the time just to go buck wild. Go ahead and just make mincemeat of those first waves, because what makes these final bosses challenging is that it's bosses. Okay, these guys can drop you drop you on a dime if you aren't careful. So again, be aware of distance, right? Skeletal warrior, he has attack patterns. He's going to come around this, trying to get around your shield. If you have a high guard, he'll try to stab you low. So keep your guard up with the shield. If you are dealing with octoluses, okay, you're going to need range. Help push them into areas where they're more easily defeated, right? I have a whole boss video. Check it out. But people are going to go down in the boss room. It happens every time. People go down in the boss room. So how do you effectively res? I see a lot of people see someone go down. One person wants to stay fighting. Fine, let them fight. That's actually a part of the strategy. Here's the thing. When you see someone go down, don't just wait for 2 people to go down. It's far more difficult in a boss chamber to res 2 people than 1. Because when you have 3 people with you, when you have 3 people with you, what you're able to do is have one person stay fighting, drawing the aggression. And if you're on the fight, look at the down people. Move to where the horde is and get that fight on you. Keep backing up, strafing, right? Okay, we all have those, egomaniacs who just, maybe not egomaniacs, but like kill-greeting bastards who just want to fight. Let them fight. But the next person, your goal, and this is, I recommend people with shields or great swords or spears, your job is to mitigate that distance, right? Keep them back. Shield bash, stab, right? Pull them away while other person focuses on that vital res. This is going to stop 2 people from going down and making that fight way more harder than it has to be. The next thing that we can talk about with resing, right? If 2 people go down, then the most important thing that you can do is, because now you need to draw the aggression. Do everything you can to draw aggression. If 2 people are down, don't guard the person resing. I mean, do your best, but the way that you're guarding is by pulling enemies away, staying close enough to the enemies to get them toward you, right? If you see somebody spawning near or behind them, try to throw weapons and tell them on your 6 or on your back. Let them know what's going on. Most people, if you are down, your job is eyes in the sky. If you're down, the main thing you're doing is announcing how many enemies you see, where they are, to the best of your ability. Okay, so, oh no, something bad happened. And now 3 people are downed. Oh, geez, that seems scary, right? Instead of just being like, well, that's it, guys. I don't know what to do. I don't have any potions. I don't know what else to do. Well, let's say you do have some potions, okay? You're out of res. If you had reses, they'd already be up, right? Do you have an invis? That's great. Then they're gonna res them. But let's be honest. You're not gonna have that res. You're not gonna have that invis when you need it, okay? Ask somebody who has res, who has invis, right? And then call out your name, who you are. Don't just say, I have it. Say who you are and what you look like. I'm this guy, I have the bow, or I'm this guy with the greatsword. Now that person knows who to look for and ideally where to look for you if you're indicating your location. Prioritize people with resources to res first. Okay, again, this is the vital part of communication. Once you have let everybody know who has what, look in your inventory. Do you have a haste potion? Do you have a bomb potion? Do you have an ice potion? Okay? Any of those are going to help clear out swaths. If you have an ice, wait, pull people towards you. Get around a corner, get them ready, and then drop it. Boom. If you're an ice, wait for you to get surrounded. Crack it down. Don't destroy them, okay? Let them stay frozen. Because with that, you can go into that res. The next thing is, if you don't have any potions and you feel confident in the fight and you haven't got any bosses yet, clear out the swarm, but leave one person standing, okay? Ideally, get a zombie if it's possible, or a skeleton as they move just a bit slower than something like an imp or a wasp or something like that. So get an enemy, let them stay up, and then go pick up your allies. Now, let's say you can't clear out that fight. What do? You're surrounded. Okay, what you're going to do? You're going to find terrain advantage. Move around structures. Is there elevation? Lure them downstairs. Bring them upstairs, okay? And once they're there, If you have a haste, that's great. Use that to get a speed advantage and zoom to your allies, okay? If you don't, get that terrain advantage and then try to bring yourself as close to your enemies as you can while the horde is trying to follow you. This is also a pretty good strategy against doomers and what have you. So, here we are. We have successfully lured a horde away and got ourselves into position where we can start rezzing an ally with a resource. And then we go back to those prior tactics, 2 tactics, 3 tactics for the amount of people up. Once you have gotten to that comfortable with those rezzing tactics, another thing of note when it comes to rezzing is you can self-res. That's right. You can you can prevent yourself from going down. Okay? If there are more than 3 people down, because this will not work if everyone dies, you can crack a res potion. Hold it high. You're in a horde. Oh no, I'm going down. And it'll fall and it'll crack underneath you. See how much I love you? I'm going to waste 3,000 gold just to demonstrate. Okay? You can hold that res potion high so that when you die, it'll actually bring you back into the fight. Okay, you don't have any res potions. You don't want to waste a res potion. Or maybe it didn't proc and that you weren't holding it high enough. Well, guess what? You've actually just made it easier for your allies to bring you up again because now there's a resource at your feet. Okay? The next thing is use environmental death. Okay? Environmental death is going to give you a respawn. So you're low on health, you're down to 17%, jump off a high platform and just die. Okay? You're going to respawn. Okay? You're at low health and this enemy is fighting you. Okay? Find an Octolus, find a giant scorpion, right? And let them take you out with their bite attack or their sting attack. There are only a few environmental deaths provided by enemies. So I like to keep an Octolus around if I'm in a heated fray against like multiple skeletal bosses. Maybe there's a couple of doomers summoning lost souls or those flame skull creatures, right? With that, I am going to be able to reset my health pool without having to rely on my allies to bring me up. Okay? So self-res is huge. Now, this is something that could be a bit finicky. It's determined on the size of your boundary, okay? If you die next to or even near a ledge, okay, make sure your boundary is large when you start playing the game. Get up and walk over to that ledge and then reset that boundary or your position with this, right? And you will fall through to a spike pit and then you can resurrect yourself. The next thing with that is, okay, I didn't set up a large boundary. I don't have a large gaming space. You walk as far as you can walk in real life. I'm taking real life steps. Oh, look at my messy room. Take real life steps, reset the boundary. Take a few steps, reset the boundary. Okay? Don't look at my messy room. I'm so sorry. But you can actually walk and reset that boundary if you don't usually have enough space to do so. Devs might eventually address that. I really hope they don't. It's one of the few ways that you can actually bring yourself back and be of aid to your allies who are in a fray. So, those are crucial tactics to surviving a dungeon. Now, a few bonus tips here. These are situational or based off loadout. Okay? I've mentioned before, having the Juggernaut perk gives you 2 layers of threat to help you keep people up. But this is only good if there's 2 people in front of you. So another thing you can do is take that spear behind you and give it a little wiggle, okay? This is going to act as a little of a barrier and an indicator as to if there are people behind you that you haven't seen. That's not going to always work against smaller enemies like spiders or slimes, but it's at least something you can do to guard your back. The next thing is, if you have a tower shield or a larger shield, what you can do is, if you're standing or sitting, okay, bring yourself down to the floor and give yourself more cover. Okay, my whole body can be guarded by my shield by lowering my elevation. Okay, so that's another tip that you can use with certain loadouts. Now, just because you're frozen or surrounded, literally keeping your guard up. If you've seen my fighting videos, how effective it can be just to keep your guard in this way. I'm guarding my side, I'm guarding my front, right? I probably want to be using a slightly larger instrument, right? And don't wiggle them around because that's going to make it so they're less likely to guard. But this is by keeping them still, you're keeping a high and a low guard, guarding both of your flanks and your front against enemies. This can be done with a bow. Okay, a bow can be used to guard your body. Staffs are a great thing that you can use to keep yourself up. Okay. Just because you're rezzing doesn't mean that you're useless. And just because you're rezzing doesn't mean you can't use that offhand to pick up a potion, let's say an ice potion, drop it, or a bomb potion, drop it on your person, clear out the space as people move in on you, okay? Right? So, oh no, well, all I have is daggers and a bow. I'm not going to be able to, keep an adequate guard. Sure you are. But that is why it's so important to stock up on those potions every time you go into a dungeon. Oh, but Dayman, I hear you say this economy is busted. Hey, I love you, and I made a video that's going to help you circumvent those costs, right? You're going to be able to get free potions without even having to load into a dungeon. Check it out. Okay? And if you are a long-time player and you have plenty of gold, don't be stingy. Distribute potions as needed. Okay? So, with all of these tips, I don't want to see us leaving our allies down on the floor. We're rezzing them as soon as we can, staying in good communication, coming up with fun and funny nicknames for our friends, okay? And we're going to have a much more higher success rate in these more challenging dungeons, okay? This video, before the update, it was just something that was good practices. Now these are required practices to get through those hazards at anything more than a tier 1. You want to survive a hazard dungeon at tier 7? Guess what? You're going to need communication. You're going to need to be good with all weapons. You're going to need to know how to use them. Okay? You're not going to want, if you got a death in your dungeon, you're going to want to use invisibility. That's right, death cannot see you when you're invisible. So make sure everybody has invisibility potions. Communicate when you're using them so you don't 2 potions wasted. Well, I guess we're still invisible, right? And you can stagger those invisibility potions to literally keep death off your tail until the boss room. How incredible is that? So, I'm going to be making some videos on how to power level, get yourself up to that double prestige. Until next time, remember to disinfect your face mask and wash your face. Look forward to seeing you in the dungeon. Peace.